So, good morning everyone. We begin with chanting Universal Well-Being. May I abiding well-being in freedom from affliction, in freedom from hostility, in freedom from ill will, in freedom from anxiety, and may I maintain well-being in myself. May everyone abide in well-being, in freedom from hostility, in freedom from ill will, in freedom from anxiety, and may they maintain well-being in themselves. May all beings release from all suffering, and may they not be parted from the good fortune they have attained. When they act upon intention, all beings are the owners of their action, and inherit its results. Their future is born from such action, companion to such action, and its results will be their home. All actions with intention, be they skillful or harmful, of such acts there will be the heirs. So still reflecting my the recent trip to Poland. I just received 20 minutes, I think, before a meditation, pictures from the funeral service from my grandma. The picture of her grave. It was just happened a few hours ago. It was a traditional Catholic funeral in the kind of chapel in the cemetery, where I saw the picture of the priest, and is the Catholic mass usually, and they send the ashes. Her body was cremated to the graveyard, and was simple ceremony around the graveyard, and and kind of close this circle of her life. I mentioned last time that one of the advices that I received from the powers was to stay in the place of loving kindness. An entire trip, whatever I react with everyone, express my gratitude, appreciation, and just have a kind of unconditional care, not leave even moment from this feeling. Marty says, be honest, be real, and be center. And I will tell the story. Definitely I had to use those advices. And to before I begin, I give a little bit context. So my grandma was in the COVID hospital, special department, although her cause of death was not a COVID related. She was vaccinated twice, and even in the age 19th, her the COVID related symptoms are relatively very good, very smoothly. All this happened. The problem of her was the heart disease. So in my home city, in my this county, recently drastically increased the number of cases of COVID, and it's one of the highest in the whole country. And so it's a lot of kind of, and I can say, an anxiety and fear, But at the same time, people are very tired by all these restrictions of, all the quarantine and, many young people had to stay in home, the homeschooling, remote schooling from Zooms and so forth. So I feel people even was at a danger a little bit relaxed in terms the all the protective procedures. So when I told to my parents, my father, that is this possible that I probably have a chance to see my grandma, uh, he was kind of, I don't know, that is a good idea. He says, a little bit afraid that I will be exposed for the COVID and potentially also put in danger others. A few times says this. I says, well, that I'm here to. It is very important for me. And if this, I'm not pushing anything, but if it will be possible, I really want to, and I think this is very important for her as well. So as I mentioned, I received a call. I talked with the doctor. Doctor says, yeah, you can see your grandma. You can come to the hospital. And finally, I have 15 minutes. This is one of the security requirements, right? To be not longer than 15 minutes in this kind of danger situation. And of course, they put me a lot of protection gears, kind of whole suit, face shield, mask, double gloves. It was like more than 20 minutes I wearing those clothes. So after the visit to my grandma, I called to my father from the bus. I was driving back home. And I says, yes, I just came out from the hospital. And my father, what? The hospital? What you did? This is ridiculous. It was very emotional. And it's like, well, okay, now it's time to listen for me. Relax in the body and listen. And he says, we have to cancel. We have a gathering with family. We have to cancel gathering. I says, yeah, okay, sure, we can cancel gathering. I will call to my aunt and others. And after a while, my stepmother is calling. And I'm very disappointed. She says, I think given the circumstances, you cannot stay anymore in our house. Well, okay. So, okay. And I say, I will move as fast as possible, all my things when I come to. I still was driving in the bus, in the public transportation to the house. So I call to my cousin and says, what's going on? And says, maybe you can help me find some hotel nearby. Call my aunt, and immediately she says, forget any hotel. You need to go to your grandma's house. She lived alone in this actually city center, close to like a huge opera. And I will come there pretty soon, and I expecting you there. I says, okay, aunt, I will do it. And I remember I came out with the bus, and I was walking to the house, and immediately came some hour lessons of nonviolence communication and loving kindness, of course, loving kindness. And the first move of loving kindness is not dwelling in aversion, of not reacting from aversion. So what I think, it could be pretty tense conversation when I enter. So first, I kind of rehearsal twice. I told myself, I deeply respect your wish. I understand your concern. I now move to my grandma place, but I don't have any resources, internal resources to talk with you about the whole thing right now. Let's talk later, because I'm afraid that I can say something what can hurt you or hurt me. Because definitely I partly the aversion was there, and uh, so I can maybe 3 times repeat this phrase to be prepared, relax my body, and enter house. And my father says, uh, actually, they changed completely. I'm very sorry. What's happened? I'm so sorry. I understand your concerns, but also you need to understand your concerns. And I didn't say one thing. What was very helped me, what we do in our exercises in nonviolence communication, to also understand their needs, right? Why they react in this emotional way? Because I actually to came to my meditation first. My father care about me. He was afraid that I am in the immediate danger, be exposed to COVID. Even this important situation, meeting the grandma, but still. And in fact, what I heard in my stepma, their friend's family is a nurse, and she was working in COVID hospital, and she was infected and passed away. So it was not like, of course, there are some a lot of security and a lot of people pay attention to be protected, but still, it is a risk. And even before I went to hospital, I have to sign that I'm aware that it is possibility to be infected. So okay, I emphasize with them. They worry about me. They worry about ourselves. They value security and so forth. And also I fantasize a little bit with myself. I can't understand why I did it. It was very important. I think the risk was low. It was very important for me to see my grandma, and of course I felt a little bit surprised by the intensity of this reaction from them. But okay, this is where I am. So first, my first choice was, let's talk later. I respect you. Let's talk later. What you decide. But fortunately, it was actually very peaceful conversation and mutual understanding. My father called for taxi for myself and helped me pack everything. And my stepmother also very supportive. And next day he came to this house, and it was actually a kind of a gift, because I have a chance to be for next 2 days around the energy of my grandma, kind of feel her, even sleep in her bed, and to kind of honor her in the very intimate place what is her living, right? My father came next day. My stepmother, cooked food for me, so it's kind of come from arms round 2 heavy bags of food, and we have a very good conversation with each other, and very supportive. Both of them are very supportive at the end of the visit. Although you stay a little bit separated, what was I think good choice in the given circumstances, and it let me reflect how we always say loving kindness never fail. I can say loving kindness always win, I can say. Because very easily I can see we can end up in pretty huge conflict. If who say this is not fair, I will tell you, So I was flying from the whole world here, and now you receive me in this way, and I kind of didn't even fit this. I noticed this moment of irritation in my heart, relaxed, empathize with them myself, and I see I have a choice. I can respond to these circumstances with kindness. And it was quite amazing, to see, because of the few seconds of we rehearsal a lot of loving kindness, of practicing nonviolence communications, and sometimes we rehearsal, and we never know where we will be tested. And for me was this the testing moment. And I often Doug Powers saying that don't judge your or value your cultivation when everything goes well. Check your cultivation when everything goes wrong, or is very challenging. This is the probably place when you can tell you have little progress or not. So I don't know, it was a progress for myself, but definitely be aware of what's going on internally and have a chance to re-emphasize with others. Give me another choice. I have something. I don't have to react from my kind of listen my irritation only. I can notice that, I can emphasize with that, and I choose something what is beneficial for myself and then for others as well. So this is my story. Next part, number 3, story of sending or saying goodbye to my grandma. And we continue. It's a lot of stories what happened in Poland.
Okay, so appreciate Jingwei Shi's sharing. We'll now do the 3 steps, 1 bow. 3、3步、1拜。